we turn our attention to the ACC, where Clemson has won the conference in 6 consecutive years and finds itself as a massive favorite to do so once again. So let's start by taking a look at the win totals for the Atlantic Division, and you'll notice that there is quite the discrepancy. Clemson at 11.5, which means 1 loss and the underpays, and then of course Syracuse bringing up the rear. Florida State at 5.5. Don't sleep on Mike Norvell's crew. I think they're going to be a little bit better this season, but more on that in a bit. The Coastal Division is a little bit tighter, at least when it comes to the top. North Carolina and Miami, right there, they should be fighting neck and neck. My advice to you, if you're going to play that, find the team that's just got the better odds, because those two are very evenly matched. Duke bringing up the rear at 3.5 wins. So I want to start with this. Okay. When it comes to winning the conference, is there any bet you're even considering making outside of Clemson? And would you even make it considering they're minus 800?
No. There is not another team I think can win the ACC besides Clemson. It doesn't mean I'm going to go rush to bet Clemson at minus 800 because that value is so wretched, so poor. However, if you have a lot of money, let's just say, and you want to try and, put down a big chunk to just win back a little, I understand that can be a valuable type of asset or a valuable type of investment commodity, so to speak. I'm just not that type of person. I don't have that type of bankroll. So I'll stay away from betting the ACC because I know Clemson, like in the Big Ten with Ohio State, there's just a massive gap, a massive, massive gap between them at the top of the conference and everyone else in terms of coaching, in terms of talent, in terms of depth, everything. Advantage Clemson in the ACC, so I would not bet anyone else but the Tigers.
Clemson's defense is absolutely sick, like it is each and every year. It'll probably be the best in the country. And outside of the first game against Georgia, they've got one of the softest schedules in the country. They're not going to have to run into North Carolina this year, so you don't even get that marquee matchup. However, there is almost no quarterback depth whatsoever once you get past DJ Uiagalelei, which is a concern because if there's an injury, that's what could open Clemson up to a possible under. That's what could open up another team to winning if, say, for example, Miami or maybe even North Carolina runs the table. So I'm going to pass, but here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you a little something here. And remember, Notre Dame not in the ACC this year. They were in it last year because of COVID, not this year. If you're looking to bet against Clemson and you're thinking, I'm going to play under 11.5 on the win total, don't tie up your money for that many months. Just bet Georgia on the money line in week 1 because those two are going to play each other on a neutral site. And Georgia's the most likely opponent to take Clemson out. Now, the advantage for you in betting under 11.5 is that even if Clemson beats Georgia, maybe there's a mishap down the stretch. But that's minus 110, which means you have to risk $110 to win 100. If you just go ahead and take Georgia on the money line, plus 135, plus 140, you can win the bet in 1 week right there and get a much better return on your investment. So keep that in mind. Maybe rather than going under 11.5, just take Georgia in week 1 on the money line. Now, to bets we're actually going to be making it in a big, big way, win totals. Of all the ones we flashed up earlier, where are you going?
Yeah, the prospective division favorite or leader, North Carolina at 10 wins. I think that's too high.
Ooh, bearish on the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I'm bearish on the Tar Heels. I'm going to go under here, and it's not just because they didn't accept my application for entry into UNC Chapel Hill so many years ago. 40-plus touchdowns and 4,000 yards of offense. That seems like a lot, right?
It does. It seems like quite a bit.
That's what left North Carolina's offense this year and graduated to the National Football League. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, 2 running backs, Diami Brown, and Daz Newsome, 2 wide receivers. Now, they still have Sam Howell, the trigger man back there, but replacing that type of production is not going to be easy. Mac Brown's done a good job recruiting, but I can't imagine there's any offense in all of football that lost as much production as North Carolina. To cash the over,
Bama.
who recruits like Bama? They reload most of it. That's fair. That's fair. Bama lost a lot with Waddle, Najee Harris, and their quarterback. At least North Carolina
and the Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith.
2 wide receivers as well. But Nick Saban has some 5-star, 4-star waiting in the wings, ready to take over because we didn't know who Devontae Smith was until he came on the scene. Regardless, 1 loss is all it takes, 1 loss is all they can have for the over to cash. 2, of course, you'll push here, but I think opening the season at Lane Stadium against Virginia Tech is a difficult test, especially for an offense that will be trying to replace so much in a hostile environment. They go to South Bend and play Notre Dame on the road. I can see that being 2 losses right there that will kill the over ticket. So bottom line is too much gone. I'm bearish on the North Carolina Tar Heels, even though I think Howell's a good quarterback and Mac Brown's done a good job.
One thing to keep in mind, nobody, and I mean nobody, bets Virginia Tech worse than I do, okay? Keep that in mind anytime you hear me talking about the Hokies this season. I am going to stay in the great state of North Carolina. I'm just going to go to North Carolina State, and I'm going to play over 6.5. Guess what? The Wolfpack have 19 starters coming back from last year's 8-4 squad, and head coach Dave Doran has won 7 or more games in 6 of the last 7 years. There's a lot to like about this team, especially on defense, but I got to give you the bad news. Somehow their schedule ended up with Clemson, North Carolina, and Miami. Ooh. So there are some troubling spots here, but good news, I got 5 home wins for you. USF, Furman, LA Tech, Louisville, and Syracuse. BC, Wake Forest, and Florida State are all winnable, but they won't be easy. So hold yourself on this one. It's going to be tight, but at 6.5, NC State over is going to be the play for the guy who can't bet the Hokies.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.